All right, so welcome to the third video of personnel for Recreation and Sport Management 308, Recreational Sport Programming. And the thought here is just kind of want to go through just kind of a quick overview of the steps in the personnel process, just so you know and aware. This can be helpful two ways. One, when you get out there and start hiring your own people, and the other is when you're going through the process, you can kind of know what to expect, because that's probably what you're going to be doing here in the next couple months as you start getting out there and interviewing for jobs and getting job offers. And this is what the organization's doing. In the future, you'll be the person doing all this and going through and trying to hire good people. So as we mentioned, we've kind of talked about the hiring the right fit for skill-wise, hiring for the task, hiring one for the right fit for the organization, and making sure that the person has the same values and beliefs, norms as the organization. Now we're kind of looking at the overall process and how that can go on and trying to make that good fit. So one of the things we talked about earlier is the job description, and that's the starting point for it, is understanding what the job is that you're trying to hire and creating a job description that outlines what that person's task are going to be. Then you also have to kind of market that position, create and publicize the job announcement. A lot of online sites now will do that. We showed you Bluefish a while ago. You also have NRPA. You have depending on what type of sport it is, you might Teamworks Online. You have opportunities out there to get your information out in a relatively inexpensive manner with the digital version. But you do have to create the announcement. You have to let people know and make people aware that this job is available and out there, and you have to market it. Recruit candidates, and we'll talk about some of the recruiting strategies and how to go out and recruit candidates, because you want those best people possible. And put together that team that we talked about. Review applications and resumes, select the top candidate, do your background checks, make an offer, and then once that offer is accepted, you got to train, develop that employee, and then come up with appraisal performance. And so what we're going to look at is kind of looking at these a little bit more. So remember, the job description and recruitment, it all comes down to what are you trying to do? You're trying to find the best possible candidate for the position. And that starts with that job description and coming up with a good job description to outline what the job is all about. This comic here with the Peanuts, I've always wondered why you decided to be a dog. And he said, I was fooled by the job description. Okay, we don't want our participants or our employees to be fooled by the job description and then not be happy. We want them to be happy. And so we're going to find that best possible person. We want to be honest about what we're looking for in that job description. And it requires, investment of time and resources to do a good job in that description and recruitment. Job description announcement, first step in getting that qualified person. One of the challenges, you always have that internal versus external candidates. Do we want to hire internally, or do we want to bring in somebody from the outside and bring them in? And there's advantages and disadvantages of both. The internal candidate already knows the organization. You already know what that person's like to work with. You take away a lot of those ifs. The external candidate may bring in new life to the organization. They may bring in new skills into the organization. They may bring in new knowledge into the organization. So you never know, kind of a balancing act which way you want to go there. How do you go about recruiting? Personal and professional network, who you know, and the network that you might be involved in as far as online networks. LinkedIn, you might be connected to somebody that might be a good fit. And again, another way to promote your agency and your description, your job. But a lot of times, I belong to a professional network for recreation and sport professors, and whenever we have a job opening, I send it out through that network so that people are aware of that position. Excuse me. posting organization website, your organization will draw people. We can put stuff out, and it seems like people are always monitoring Coastal's website and looking for opportunities to come to Coastal. Utilizing third-party search firms that'll do this help you with your search. I never delved into that realm, but that's an opportunity there. Posting positions at career fairs, email distribution lists, one of the things I've done in the past, and placing in professional publications. Again, all those are viable ways that you can get your information out about your job. A lot of times it's the digital versions now that are most seen, but you want to provide a variety of means so that you can get a variety of candidates in as you go forward. The selection, the purpose of the job search, get that right candidate, right? That's the whole reason why we're doing this, is trying to get the best possible candidate for that position. So that's the purpose of our job search, and is to select that best candidate. You want to develop the process, go through the screening. Screening is reviewing their resumes, cover letters, applications, kind of determining who you want to move forward. Now a lot of times it's done, for a lot of agencies, it's done automatically through the computer process, and they'll look at the computer, will see if they have certain terminology in their skill sets written in their resume and cover letters, and they'll move it forward to you. You might not even have to do much of the screening process anymore. You just have to worry about interviewing and going through that. Process, who is responsible for the process. If you're, a lot of times, if you're the one that's their direct supervisor, you're the one that will probably be the person that's responsible for the process. The agency will kind of set up the process for you, and then your responsibility will be to implement that process and get that best person. One of the toughest jobs, though, is to hire somebody and to make sure that you do it in a equitable manner. And we do constantly doing trainings on how to be a part of a search committee so that you don't say something wrong, do something wrong that can hinder your ability to get the good person. Are you going to do it as a committee or doing it individually? What's the time frame that you have to hire that person? You'll have job applications. You're looking at their experience, past performances, references. Usually do some type of personal interview. Sometimes they put in written examinations. They want you to do the exams. Nowadays, drug testing is going to be a requirement. They're going to do that as well. And they're going to do character investigation. They're going to do a background check on you to see if you have any issues, and we'll talk about why here in a second. And may make you do a performance test as part of the interview to make sure that you can do the skills. And this is one of the reasons why we have done this. Sports Illustrated did an article now several years ago about who's coaching your children and your kids, and these individuals are all felons who were coaching youth teams, and anything from child molestation to weapons charges to selling cocaine to and other drug charges. Not a good group of people, but they were the individuals working with youth and coaching them in sport situations. All of them volunteer coaches, looking like they're coming out and doing it out of the goodness of their heart, but some of these are sexual predators looking for a way to get at these children. Okay? We know some more recent cases, the Jerry Sandusky case out of Penn State, and then Larry Nassar over the last couple of years. That one frightening with the way he was abusing the gymnasts on the U.S. gymnastics team. Just awful circumstances, both of them, and we want to try to prevent that. And that's one of our big pushes now in all sport, youth sport, particularly vulnerable audience, is how do we prevent these things from happening in the future? How can we stop these things? And so that's one of the big things that you're going to have to be paying attention to when you're looking at your volunteers, is making sure that you do those background checks. You check those individuals out. There is a lot of organizations out there. These are kind of broad organizations that serve all types of youth sport, but each of the governing bodies for those different sports and organizations within those specific sports will have guidelines to help try to get them good coaches in there, ones that are both positive and have the right idea about youth coaching and not being abusive to those children. In some of the other ones like Little League and Pop Warner football, and those type of agencies are going to have guidelines set up and requirements for coaches to try to minimize these type of circumstances. But these are all great organizations to help and that serve youth sport, and you can take a look at each one of those. And there's like I said, there's many more out there, but these were kind of the big name ones. So we just kind of worked our way through the personnel process, and something you have to keep in mind is when you're programming sport, whatever level it is, you have to have great people in there to help you be successful. We just got done with coaching a youth or my son's showcase baseball team. We did a Triple Crown tournament here in Myrtle Beach. Best group of people, umpires, nice, knew their stuff, very professional, and then which is not always the case, as if most of you know. And then also just the leadership of the whole event, very, very personable, kind of very, very accommodating, very well-run tournament. I'd go back and do that one again because they had good personnel all the way around. All right, so we'll stop there, and we'll pick up on we're moving into marketing next, and at marketing get into budget and then buying supplies. So we'll stop